And so there I was, lying crumpled in the snow in Austria at the base of a ski jump at one of the world's most prestigious ski jumping events, with tens and thousands of spectators in the crowd and millions of people watching on TV. And as I was laying there curled up in the snow, I had the most intense and severe sharp pain just jolting through my back. And to think that just 1 year prior to this moment, I was representing the United States as a ski jumper in the 2014 Olympic Games in Sochi, Russia. Now, I have been a ski jumper and have loved ski jumping my entire life. Just soaring through the air at 70 miles per hour and jumping distances of over 2 football fields in length. It is the most intense and awesome feeling in the world. And for me, it feels like flying. Now, naturally, one of the last things that I want when I'm jumping is for my boots or for my skis to fall off while I'm in the air. So I tend to tie my boots extra tight, so much so that they can actually begin to hurt. And so as I was lying there crumpled in the snow, with medical personnel working to stabilize me, and in the most intense pain that I've ever been in my entire life, I weirdly asked one of the first responders if he could untie my boots because my feet were uncomfortable. And the man, he looked at me. He looked down at my feet, and he turned back to me and said in his German accent, "Your boots are already off." And my heart dropped. And it was in that moment I knew that this fall wasn't like any of the falls that I've had before. And so I was quickly rushed into emergency surgery because I had fractured and dislocated my L1 vertebrae. I had broken 2 ribs, punctured my right lung, bruised my kidney, and was suffering from internal bleeding. And my injury had left me paralyzed from the waist down. Now, the next few months were pretty crazy. You know, a lot of it honestly was really a blur just because of the drugs I was on. And we also had to relocate my hospital room just for a little bit of privacy because of all the media attention surrounding my injury. And then there was also the acting like everything was all right to my family and friends, acting like I was fine and that I was all right. But really, I wasn't all right. And every time I was alone, all I could think about was how for 20 years I dedicated my life to the sport of ski jumping, and then all of a sudden, it was gone in 20 seconds. And I went into a state of deep depression, and I began to spiral deeper and deeper into a hole. And I was filled with so much uncertainty, I realized I had to start taking control of my thoughts. Because although I might not have control over my body, I still have control over my mind. And so I would do things to start helping me out. And I would post things on the wall in my hospital room, inspirational quotes that said things like, "When life gives you lemons, add tequila and salt." And then my teammates, aside from all the candy and the very inappropriate magazines that they sent me, they would even sneak beer into the hospital for us while I was still in the ICU. We were just trying to make the best of the situation that we were in. And it was right around this moment, and right around this time, when one of my dearest friends, Jess, who was also our team's physical therapist, she said to me, "Nick, this injury doesn't change who you are, and you can still do whatever it is you want to do. You might just have to do it slightly differently." Now, I still had my doubts, though, and I wanted to believe her. But really, I was just thinking she was just telling me some of that motivational BS. However, it got me thinking. I am an athlete at heart, and I need to be active. But I have no clue what sports are available, let alone what sports I can even do. And that's when a lot of people just started offering me suggestions, whether it was, wheelchair basketball or hand cycling or adaptive alpine skiing. But besides from ski jumping in the winter, I really love to water ski in the summer. And so I started to look for places to go water skiing. However, due to how recent my injury was, my doctor was very reluctant But after a bunch of poking and prodding, and I'm sure annoying the heck out of him, he finally gave in and gave me the okay. And then just 6 months after my injury, the next thing I know, I was sitting on top of this 7-foot-long, 1.5-foot-wide adaptive water ski in the middle of this lake in Mississippi being towed behind a boat, and it just feels amazing. Having my ski gliding across the glassy surface of the water, making these long and beautiful carving turns, I just feel like I'm flying again. And I realize that this is perhaps one of the best days that I've had since my injury back in Austria. And when I return home from that trip down in Mississippi, I finally realized for the first time what it was that Jess was really trying to say to me in the hospital. That I can do things. I just have to do them differently. In fact, I have to do a lot of things differently as I adjust to my new life. Whether it's learning how to drive a car with adaptive hand controls, or when I go out with my friends and there's steps leading up to the bar. But what I didn't realize and what I didn't know when I came back from that trip was that just 2 years later, I would be representing the United States again at a world championship, but this time as an adaptive water skier. Thank you.